Okay. Lots of scheduling conflicts making life difficult this week. But hello, everybody. Welcome to Adventure on so many levels. We're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yay!
Okay, so we're starting late. We might have to cut off short, but we gotta get some adventure in. I'm Christiana Ellis, the Dungeon Master. Our players tonight, Starla Hutchton,
Greetings and salutations.
Jennifer Meltzer,
Hello.
Vivid Muse,
Hey guys.
Mark Kilfoyle,
I like rocks, but sand's too small.
and James Meltzer.
Anyways, here's Wonderwall.
Okay, so we last left the heroes of legend as they had escaped the apocalyptic battlefield and made their way to the Lorenz Desert through the aid of a teleport spell from their good old friend Melicanth. They took the evening to compare notes in Ket's magnificent mansion. They were all alarmed by the sudden just vanishing of their friend Otterkey to places unknown. That's still not resolved. And they know that even though they can see this enormous, gigantic tree known as Emerit Arboris, that probably has all the answers to every question they could possibly ask, except they can't get there because some sort of magic keeps diverting them and leading them to this strange oasis instead. And so that is where we left our crew last time, was viewing this oasis and deciding, well, might as well check it out.
And you know, some cats get stuck up in trees, and we just can't even get to this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, didn't we go through like a sandstorm or something?
You did, and the sandstorm, basically, you were headed in the direction of the tree. The sandstorm took all your visibility away, made it harder and harder to get by, and then it suddenly just dissipated, and you realized that it had led you way out of the way, and once again, at this strange oasis that Melicanth had mentioned, that her two previous attempts to get to the tree were diverted in different magical ways, both still leading her to this oasis, though.
And also, there is a dragon
Ah,
nearby.
yes. Yeah. I don't think you had actually shared that with anyone. You just that we ended on you realizing that, but
Oh
Okay,
shit!
so-
There's a dragon.
So I turned to everybody, I'm like, okay, so nobody panic, but
Those are never
there's a
words to start
dragon.
something.
There's
Never.
a dragon somewhere nearby.
Is it like a sand dragon or a flying dragon?
A rock dragon or
Oh,
cave
no.
dragon.
Oh,
Well, we
I
need
don't,
more good news.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. Like, I just know I can feel it.
you felt it deep underground in the direction of the tree.
It's near the tree.
Let's just hope this one isn't a jerk.
Well, maybe we could sneak over it if it's underground. Unless we have to go underground to get to the tree.
What if everything around you is based on that dragon?
Then we probably have a problem.
Yeah.
We always have
Probably.
a problem.
Yeah, we already do.
we got lots of brumbles.
So this oasis that you see in the distance, it was a couple of 100 yards off. What you see is a small little blue water pond. Looks very inviting in terms of coloration. It seems to have some sort of a dark green scrub grass growing around it with a handful of palm trees up around it. And then near this little pond is a butte, which, for those of you who did not grow up in places where the geography included buttes, is kind of a narrow mesa where it's it's a round rock extrusion that's flattish on top, but it's maybe 100 feet wide at the bottom and about 50 feet wide at the top, about 50 feet tall, near the oasis.
That's a real beaut. Haven't seen one of those in ages.
Hey, that water looks really good. Amethyst, your little friend there that you have in your pouch, maybe you would like to give him some water. Maybe you could let him hop over there.
Yeah, unless you're planning on using it to see if the water's poisonous.
No, I'm just, I like some water. Maybe I mean, it must be thirsty.
At this point, I just want to know this thing's real.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make sure I have my shield up and my weapon in hand, and I am going to go towards the water,
Okay.
expecting trouble.
I would like to boop her with guidance as she strides towards the water.
Okay. So is just Nira going, or are you all following?
I'll
I'm
go.
going.
I'm holding Arwen and standing back a little bit.
Okay. Well, so you notice a couple of things as you get a little closer. One is that when the wind blows in such a way that you get a little bit of a gust from that direction, you do smell a slightly chemically odor. It's, there's a little bit of a hint of moisture on the air, but it also doesn't smell entirely fresh. But also what you see as you get a little closer is that there seems to be some kind of a structure or facade built up against the side of the butte. And, without getting closer, you can't know how, does it go all inside, or is it just on the edge of it? But there seems to be columns and a platform. And there is some sort of a crumbling ruin of a structure on the top as well.
Is there a door?
Well, you're still a little too far away to see that. You're still about 100 yards off as you notice those things.
Is it made of stone?
It seems to be.
Any sign of people or even animals?
Well, it's funny you mention that, because as you get within about that distance, you suddenly hear a shout saying, "Hey, you travelers, make sure approach on your left, bear left to the left side of the oasis." And then actually you hear another voice say, "Wait, no, whatever you're doing, don't listen to them. Come over on your right, to the right side." And you realize as you look that on the two sort of respective sides of the oasis, there seems to be two distinct little clusters of people. And right now, you're still pretty far away, but if one of you wants to make a perception check to see more, you can.
Give it a try.
I will also.
All right.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at those.
23.
16.
Yeah. So I think that 23 is pretty solid. And what you can see, Cadence, is that one side appears to be a group of 7 dwarves that are strange. Their coloration is strange. Their proportion are exactly what you would expect from dwarves, but they have pale skin, and all of their hair and beard is very, very light blonde, and they have kind of red sort of body paint in some various designs, on their arms and shoulders and stuff. And the other group seems to be a more varied, racially varied group, but it's about the same size. There seems to be 6 of them that you can see. They all seem to have, varying states of armor, but they're not, bears. they are armored. Just that's what you can tell from there.
I will relay that information to everyone else.
Which side of the dwarves on? Left or right?
Left.
Okay.
As
And was
you-
it from the left that we heard the people say go left, or from the left they told us to go right?
Well, each group seems to be directing you towards them.
Okay.
they're not telling you to go to the other side. They're telling you to come to where they are.
What if we just walk down the middle?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So if you continue to approach more or less down the middle, is that what
Yeah.
you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay, what you realize as you get even a little closer is that you're coming at this place where the front of what seems to be some kind of a fortress built into this butte is at a slight angle to you, but you're coming otherwise like straight at the butte. And you realize that there have been bricks or stones, carved stones, perhaps taken from that structure, that have been laid out to make a line that goes halfway, like draw like a line in down the middle of this oasis. And in fact, actually, I made a map, so I'll go ahead and show this map, but we'll come back to the RP screen, I think. So you guys are coming from this direction, so you can see that there's the stones, the lake, or, the pond, trees, and then here's the front of this butte.
Right.
So let me put everybody on this screen as well.
Are those little black squigglies, are they the people?
No, those are just the scrub grass. And there are, however, this bit right here, and then a similar one up there, seem to be lean-to like structures made from palm fronds.
It's just as beautiful as I remember it.
On that note, Cadence and Ket can go ahead and make a history check for me.
History.
18.
18?
5.
Yeah. Ket, I think you recognize this structure. It looks considerably more ruined and decayed by the passage of time than the last time you remember seeing it. But this was basically a watch post on the outskirts of the city.
Oh yeah, it's all coming back to me now, guys. Cadence, remember? This is like this used to be like the lookout before coming into the city. Remember?
No.
Come on.
I mean,
Look.
I remember
And I just
that
like trace
existed.
over the.
Yeah, the structure on the top looks like it used to have more that went up higher to it, and that it was basically a watch post to just look out for people who might be coming across the desert.
Yeah, remember I used to throw rocks at Bobo up there when he would stand watch.
No, really? This is that place?
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, this is the same place.
It
I
looks
just kind
different.
I kind of like look out at the different groups of people, and I just shout out, "Do any of you know Stitch of Fabric or Three Stripe?"
One of the people from the group, the more varied group, the non-dwarf group, yells out, it's like, "Are you Tabaxi?"
Yes, I am Tabaxi.
Ah, well, all the more reason to come to our side then. I'm Cobb of the Oasis.
Oh, Cobb of the Oasis. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, that name doesn't even sound like one of our names.
No, well, no.
It sounds like a trick. It's like they're trying to make it be like our name.
Cobb, do you know Stitch of Fabric?
No?
Hey, dwarfs, do you know Stitch of Fabric?
Is that a person?
I was hoping one of them would say yes.
Maybe they will know like our other friends, like Max of the Wanderer or Game of Chance.
Oh, man, maybe.
One of the dwarves yells out in Dwarvish, is saying, "Dwarf, if you're looking for shelter and aid, you won't find it over there. They can't be trusted." They're saying that in Dwarvish.
So I understand it.
I'll yell back to them in Dwarvish. Why not?
They're mercenaries. They don't care about anything but money. They'll rob you blind.
What do you care about?
Survival.
Seems like the same thing to me.
Hey, Amethyst. I smell like it smells a little funny here. It doesn't smell like water.
No.
Are you getting anything from this pond here?
Can I do an or a nature
Make
check?
a
or
nature check,
something?
yeah.
Yay, dice roll.
I would like to assist.
Okay, sure.
Oh, nice.
Advantage.
So wheat. What does it mean when your dice get stuck? Oh, it means you crit low one. I mean, like literally roll one.
Oh dear.
So
Good thing you're got advantage, huh?
I know. Thank you. 15.
15. You know that a desert oasis usually is formed because of an underground spring that is coming up, from underground. Like there's no water flowing to it anywhere, and it would be evaporating very quickly in the desert air. So it must be supplied by an underground spring. And you also know that sometimes underground springs don't always flow through, nice clean rocks. Sometimes they flow through other mineral deposits that could give them a smell. You don't recognize a specific smell here, but you know that's likely what the smell is.
That. What she said.
Hey, you, Tabaxi! What do you know of the dragon?
What dragon?
Pretty much answers that.
Yeah.
Hey, ask your dwarf friends. if they
It'd be a
know
lot
about the
easier to have
dragon.
this conversation if you'd come a little closer.
Are you
No,
real?
No, don't go
Yes.
closer.
I
I
pick
can
up a
conjure some animals and
I
send
pick up
them
a rock and
buds.
throw it at them.
Okay, well, how close are you guys at this point?
I don't know, rock throwing distance.
They both groups have kind of come to they're not leaving sort of the area of the actual oasis itself. Like they're not really coming all the way out into open sand. But each of them have kind of approached that border, but you notice that they're definitely each staying on their own side.
It looked like there were stones or something leading into the water, like a pier almost.
Yeah, those were the bricks taken from
so I'll show that map again. Yeah, so essentially these stones look like they have been dragged there from somewhere else to make a line that kind of goes down the middle.
Like when you were a kid and you split your bedroom in half with your brother.
Yeah.
You know?
So I have a thought. Both Alaric and I speak Dwarvish.
Mhm.
So I'm not too keen on splitting up, but something's going on here. So what if we split up? Alaric and I can go check out the dwarves, and you guys can check out this other group, and then say meet at sunset and discuss.
I love it. Let's do it.
I take it.
Amethyst, you fall back, and if there's any trouble, you come running. You be our lookout. You be our Bobo.
We have Melicanth as well. Don't forget.
Yeah, and your Aarakocra friend as well.
Oh yeah.
Feather.
Yeah, Feathercrest.
Crest.
Feathercrest.
Yeah.
Alaric, your new friend, can come with us.
Sure. If you don't mind, I think we're going to head this way. Get of the sand. This is not something that would have been a normal state around one of these towers, right?
No.
So the you notice, by the way, a detail I hadn't mentioned, that now that there's close enough, there is a set of stairs that seems to go up and around, and that would be presumably how you could walk up to the top. That's what this is.
Okay.
Looking at that, does it bear any resemblance to the pile that some underground creatures were making a long, long time ago in a far-off mine? Because they made a mound that had a spiral staircase.
Yeah, it's a coincidence of function.
Okay. All right.
Meaning it doesn't seem related in any way, except that there's only so many ways to make stairs go to the top of a mound-like structure.
Fair enough. And one last question. These dwarves look a little bit different than I'm used to. Have I heard of this group of dwarves, this kind of
So,
dwarf
purely
before?
for descriptive purposes, I'll say they are albinos.
Hmm.
You know that different clans and different regional, dwarves can frequently have very different coloring. You don't specifically recall dwarves of like this coloration, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. I would say you'd think it's unusual, but not weird, if that makes sense.
Maybe they've been outside and baked a little too long.
Well,
I
they seem
lied.
very pale for that.
I have one more question. I lied. And that is those rocks that are there and forming that sort of line. How big are those?
Well, obviously, for scale purposes and drawing the map, I wouldn't necessarily attribute it as being 1-to-1. They're like basically chunks of masonry, so it's not just solid blocks, but it does look like they're mortared together and were probably dragged there from, perhaps they were originally part of the structure on the butte.
Okay, but it looks crude or primitive.
Well, yeah, for that matter,
Yeah.
it looks like they have taken chunks of the building that was there, and you don't know how the stones got there, but because they seem to have been where they are for a while.
I'm slightly professionally underimpressed.
Yeah.
I start walking towards.
Wait.
What?
I understand like the whole thought process here, but
Come on.
I don't think we should go either way.
Why not, man?
Well, we have to go around the pond.
These people might know where the city is too.
Can't we just swim through it?
I don't know that I trust it. These people are acting weird.
Well, and
I don't know if I
Melicanth will
trust
just
them.
say, it's like,
Um,
it seems like we're all on the same page about this, but I just want to make clear. Sure, we are all under the impression that this entire setup is a trap of some kind, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or a
Yeah.
test or something. Yeah.
Just making sure that we're all in agreement there.
I mean, I think that going either
So-
way is like
so one thing to remember is I think that we still can use Windwalk.
Yes, it should. That spell is still going, I think.
Yeah.
yeah,
So-
but it'll take us a minute to be able to be wind.
Every
So, like,
time we
if
did
something
that,
happens,
Right.
every time we did that, a storm came up, though.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying it's still an option.
It's true. I'm
I
curious
just,
about these people, though.
Right. I mean,
Maybe
you
they
could
have
go check them out first, though,
I could go ahead
They
and
might know
walk
something about the
tokens,
city.
do some recon and come back and then change.
So
Some tokens
also here's an option. I can use control water and make a trench for us across the pond.
Oh, there
so
you
we don't
go.
have to choose.
I just feel like if we go with one or the other or both, if we split up, it's bad. If we go to them, it's just going to cause a problem. Either way.
Hey, you guys, we require safe passage through to the city. This is my homeland. I am Cat of the Sand from the Emirate Arboris, and I would like to go home now, please. And thank you.
So I think at this point, you get both groups trying to talk to you at once, but I think what you grasp from the two. Sorry, I'm just making my little piles here. One thing is you get a couple of people from both sides laughing as soon as you say safe passage to the city. But then as soon as you say Emirate Arboris, a woman's voice from the dwarf side says, I am a scholar that has been seeking Emirate Arboris myself. If you want to know about the city, you should come to my side. And then the other side says, the place is a ruin. We were looking for it ourselves, but you're going to have a hard time getting there.
So, you know what, guys? I can just part this water and we can head for that old ruined structure there. Did you say it was a lookout?
Yeah, it's like a watchtower.
And then we don't have to choose.
What if there's something about the water itself?
We can
Then
try
don't
it.
touch it.
That
We won't
sounds
know until we
cool.
try.
I'll walk
Maybe they will
forward
be
and
mystified
stick my
by
paw
you.
into the
Oh, no.
into the water.
Okay.
I just want to see her
Which
do
hand?
All right.
The red
Well,
one, of course.
let me go ahead and put you guys on the map then too. If we're doing that.
I'm sorry,
So-
there was a cord there. I had to pull it.
It's almost
Yeah.
as if Chooch is here. Run directly at the
Alright.
thing.
Toss
I
our
stopped it.
Coco friend into the water.
Okay, so hang on.
I mean, if it's water, we can swim it. That's easy.
I can just.
Well,
we
not
don't have to
everyone
touch
can
it. That's
swim.
the whole point. That's the
Yeah.
whole point of the spell.
I'm a cat. I don't like water.
All right.
Albert can't help himself.
Arwen, and I think I've got everybody there. Yeah. Okay, so I've just put you all in the corner there. So Alaric goes up and sticks his what? So this is a shallow pond. It looks from this distance, it looks like it's really no more than maybe 5 or 6 feet deep, even in the center. Inside, like you can see that there is kind of like a feathery sort of seagrass type of plant that's growing patchy spots in there that it looks like it's actually maybe related to this same scrub grass, but some of it is down, underwater. There are also, you catch a couple of little black flecks that might be tiny fish that dart around. It's a very shallow bank though. So like, imagine like walking up to the ocean on the beach, right? So you'd have to bend way down to put your hand in it, but it'd be much easier to step in it.
Maybe I'll grab a stone then, just toss it in.
Blunk.
Watch the little fish.
Okay, I'm gonna make the trench. Control water down the center.
Okay. So
Little puddle of water splits before you.
yeah.
It
So
creates walls on either side of
Okay.
water and just kind of pushes it away.
so both groups kind of gasp at this. First of all, they're actually kind of they're all kind of coming up like towards you, and you can see all of these people are in a pretty sorry state. Like they look like they have been barely surviving, stuck at a desert oasis for God only knows how long.
Should take them in the mansion later or something.
And so you create the trench through the water, and a lot of gasps go up, and a lot of concerned whispering amongst the various groups. And then one just says, "I understand your impulse, but I would warn against showy displays of magic that will disrupt the careful balance we have here. The witch wouldn't like it."
What witch?
That is this woman who seems to be standing in front of this group of dwarves. She's also a dwarf with the same coloring. You'd guess she's the leader, so she gets a different token.
What careful balance! You can't even get along with each other.
And likewise, the other group has this little tabaxi here. He's got kind of like an eye patch, like a fabric eye patch, like down over one side of his head, and he seems to be missing ear on that side as well.
Hey, are you a pirate?
No, but that would be a more fun reason for this, wouldn't it?
Not necessarily.
I'm
Wait,
walking out in the trench. I don't
okay,
care.
so are
We
you?
just faced down a god like 2 days ago, so you know what? I don't care.
Technically, we
Famous last words.
probably facing it down.
So
We're
the two
we're
groups
practically
kind of.
gods, right?
I'm not here to solve their problems.
So the dwarf woman here actually yells over to the tabaxi and says, "So what do you think?" And he says, "Well, I don't know. I'm not going to try to stop him, so just we stay out of it until it resolves itself, I guess." So all of you are going down through this trench?
I'm watching Nira walk through the trench.
I'm currently burying my shame in the sand. It's been a long trip, man.
Okay.
Did any witches come out and get her yet?
No, not so
All
far.
right, I'll go too.
Okay.
I'm following Cadence.
All right.
I would like to like hurry this along because if they said witch, it's somebody that could potentially disrupt this spell. So
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I'm
So
not
you're
taking
all
the
kind of
time.
following then?
Yeah, we're just
Yeah,
going
sure.
across.
Yeah, I'm
All right.
casting bark skin on Arwen, and I'm following Nira.
Okay. All these groups of people basically like just follow you around their sides of the bank of the pond.
Do they ever step into the water?
They don't, but they don't seem to be like studiously avoiding it either. They're just, why walk through the water when they can just go around this tiny pond?
Well, I mean, we didn't pick a side.
Yep.
See,
So-
you all got the witch. We have a Nira.
So what you see from here is that you can tell that the path from both sides to these stairs seems to be well worn. The front of this fortress, you look, and you can see that where the entrance may once have been seems to be piled with stone rubble.
Like blocked off?
Yeah.
Like on purpose or like it collapsed?
Like someone over a long period of time attempted to completely block the entrance with a bunch of big stones.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I'll start going up the steps.
Okay.
Oh, that's so tempting.
Amethyst. Do you have any kind of magic that moves earth?
Let's see if I have any arm.
Nira does. She knows everything.
Does
Uh,
shatter count?
Hand me a hammer and I'll move earth.
So the dwarf here says, listen, obviously you don't trust either of us, but I am going to tell you right now, and he'll agree, you are walking into danger right now. I would encourage you to have a conversation with us first.
Oh, well, here we are, standing right here. So
How
let's
about-
talk.
Yeah, how about you both talk and just share your point of view without turning it into a game of no, pick me.
Yeah, man, what kind of trap are we walking into here? What are you talking about?
Well, it's not a trap of our making. We are caught in it, same as you.
Is that why you
Okay.
haven't left?
What kind of trap is it?
Yeah. And then the Tabaxi kind of steps forward and says, let me see if I can guess what just happened to you. You were on your way to that big old tree you see in the sky, and then you found that somehow you got yourself turned around, and there was an oasis right here. Does that sound familiar to you?
No, we actually came to the Oasis on purpose.
Sort of.
Go ahead and make a deception check.
Well, that's true though.
No, it's not.
Well,
We're
yeah,
we were
but
going,
no,
The
you were
oasis was
trying
the
to go to
only
the
thing.
tree. The sandstorm turned you around, and then you decided to come to the
Yeah.
oasis.
okay, so deception 15.
Okay. Hang on. I guess I have to have their stats up if I'm going to have them do that sort of thing. Okay. Yeah. So he looks a little suspicious, but just says, "Why on earth would you come here on purpose?"
Well, because we couldn't get to the tree, we thought maybe if we came
Well,
here.
okay,
it
that's
would-
what I said.
You want to know why we came here? I'll tell you why we came here. We came here because we heard there was a witch and that some people here were having some problems, and we solve problems. So we came here to help you out. So tell us, help me help you. What do I need to do to get you into a tree today?
So are you talking to like one group or the other, or are you?
I'm
kinda
just
trying
shouting.
to?
I'm just shouting, talking to both of them.
So I think the dwarf seems less receptive to just like the shouting and the general conversation. She's a bit more reserved, but the other tabaxi is just kind of saying, "Listen, my friend, here's the situation that we are all in, and it would seem to us that you are now in with us, okay? Everyone wants to go to the big tree. There's some kind of magic on it. that diverts you here instead. And I don't know if you have fancy magic that lets you just poof and go somewhere else. Maybe you do. But if you try to walk out, you're going to end up here just the same as if you try to go to the tree. That is what's been happening to us. We've been stuck here a long time. We've tried lots of times to walk out. Doesn't work so well.
Do you have any magic users?
As it happens, we have one, and he kind of points into the butte and says, she's not very friendly.
So you mentioned a witch. Let's hear about the witch.
The dwarf woman comes up and just says, first, hello, I am Igtha Strongarm. I am the head of an archaeological expedition that was seeking the tree. What my Tabaxi friend has said so far is true. The witch, we've taken to calling her that because we don't have any other name for her. She would appear to be a druid of some kind, would be my guess. But she seems to be caught in the same trap with us. But she was not fond of company. So she sealed herself inside the fortress to be alone. However, we are entirely dependent on her because, as lush as this oasis is compared to the desert sands surrounding us, the water is not safe to drink. The berries are not safe to eat. Coconuts from the trees come occasionally, but the witch can magically create food and water. And she does so once per day, and we are entitled to take what we need from it. The line, and she points to the rocks, were because we had some difficulty sharing a while back, didn't we, Cobb? And he just rolls his eyes and does an elaborate, shrug. And she says, the witch made the line and told us we had to each stay on our own side or else the food and water would stop coming. And so our concern here is that if you upset her, all it takes is for her to stop giving us food and we all die. So you can see why we're a little cautious here.
I know that spell.
And when you've tried to
You know
leave,
that
what
spell.
happened?
I know that spell.
Good bearing.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's Hero's Feast, I believe, is the one.
No, that's create food and
Create food
water.
and water is the
Create
spell.
food and water
Oh,
is probably
yeah.
the most
Yeah.
the closest.
closer? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hero's Feast is bigger.
Hero's
Yeah.
Feast is a pretty
Expensive,
cool
too.
spell, but it's also expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a thought here. Does anybody, in your group, don't you want to leave this place? I mean, you all seem very wrapped up in this whole island mentality of being trapped here, and I need food, so you think about your food all the time.
Well,
But what have your efforts been to leave?
name it, and we have tried it.
Did your witch try to leave, transport via plants or anything like that?
I don't know what she can do. She's not cooperative, but I can't imagine that if she could leave, that she would still be here.
I think we need to talk to the witch, you guys.
Should I knock?
Do it.
So I would like to cast Shatter on the pile of rubble in front of the door.
Oh, here it goes.
Okay. Do you tell everybody to clear out first, or
Yeah, I just kind of do this whole back up, give me space.
So shatter
Okay.
is nothing?
Oh god, man, back up. You guys back up.
Fingers in
Nira's
my
gonna
ears.
do
Okay.
crazy things now.
This is going to be loud.
so they kind of they both yell out and just or rather the Tabaxi kind of just says, I like your style, friends, but just in case it's unclear, we're not with them.
Hey, Nira, you want some help? I can cast it too. We could bring this whole fucking place down.
We're going to need her help, probably.
I've won first.
Okay.
So
Put that in your pocket.
go ahead and I guess roll the damage. I mean, it's not evading or anything.
And 3d8. And that is a 5, 7, 10. 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get a lot of little tiny shrapnel, and it doesn't do a whole lot for the bulk of the stone. It kind of crumbles and settles a little bit, but doesn't just explode it out of the way.
Well, mostly I was just trying to get her attention. Like, I don't necessarily need to bring the whole thing down.
I think actually, after you cast the spell, a couple of the guys over here that look like maybe mercenaries kind of just sort of chuckle, like, made us move back for that.
Never know. Could have been booby trapped.
So there doesn't seem to be any response, and Igtha, who's over here, just says, "Listen, we see her once a day when she casts the spell. She delivers the food on the top. You don't have to blast your way in and risk angering her if you just wait a couple of hours. You can just see her yourself."
Look, man, I don't have a couple of hours. And I'll just start
I
walking
just
up
want to go home.
I'll just start walking up the steps to the
Okay.
top of the structure.
I mean, so it's a ways around up here, but it's not. The stairs are worn, but not so much you can't use them effectively, right? They're complete if
Yeah.
worn down. And
Gotcha.
so, is anyone else following up there?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
Just grumbling to myself.
All right.
We have a god in
Is
the
that-
bottle. I ain't
is
scared
everybody
of no
going?
witch.
Or
I am. Amethyst
Okay.
is.
God in the bottle.
all right. I'll go ahead and just move you all up there. And you get a delegation from each group as well. Kind of just follow up to just watch and see what you're doing. Cobb and Igtha, and then one each of their compatriots come up. And so what you find up here is, in fact, what looks like it was once a taller structure that now has one big opening right here that is similarly, got rocks sort of obstructed and piled in front of it. There's a bit of stuff up here that just looks like rubble from whatever would have been a higher level. One of the things you notice, though, all of these little spots right here seem to be little holes that go down to some sort of an open level.
If I look through the holes, what can I see?
So you have dark vision, yes? I think?
Yes.
Yeah. What you see is that about 15, 20 feet below you, you see a dusty hallway.
Awesome. I cast Dimension Door and go down.
Okay. Well, I will allow you to do that. I think what everyone else will realize once they see Ket do that is that you guys still have the gaseous form, that wind walk you could take and go through the hole. But
Yeah.
I'm going to do that.
Cat's not that
Cat
smart.
impatience.
Okay. So Ket has gone down there. Is everyone else going down in there too?
I have to follow him.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go too.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm gonna stop moving the map around, and we'll just RP this because you guys are just blasting through all this stuff, and we're not really in combat now anyway. So as you make your way into that next level down, you see that it is a very narrow passageway that curves back and forth. And you realize that there's the holes from the upper level that provide just like a little patch of sun coming down, and this level also appears to have holes that go down to another level down. On one end, you see the path, like this little tunnel, curve around to what presumably would go up to that blocked entrance, and then the other way would seem to go down to the next level down.
You guys, if we keep going this way, we might meet the dragon. Like, what if the dragon is responsible for all of this?
What if the dragon is the witch?
No, I
I
don't
thought
think
you
that-
said the dragon was way the hell over there, where
No,
the tree is.
he is near the tree, but like, what if he's the one causing like this whole illusion, the Oasis, and trapping people here?
Dragons are tricky. What if the dragon is like polymorphing himself into the witch and being
But
here's some
wait,
food?
but wait, that's actually a good thing. If the dragon's willing to do that and actually help these people, keep them alive, even put up with their squabbling and not eat them, that's probably good.
Yeah, I don't think that's
Don't dragons hoard things? Like, don't they collect things? Maybe they're collecting
Yes.
people.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But Kat,
Like-
didn't you say you know this place?
Well, I mean, I know, like, I didn't like frequent the watchtower.
It's like a
or nothing.
landmark.
Yeah, it was like I know that this was the watchtower. I never was like stationed here. I never went in it or anything.
Oh, so you don't know how deep it goes?
No.
Hmm.
No.
Guess there's
Who's
only one way
afraid?
to find out.
Who's afraid of going a little deep underground? This actually feels good for the first time in months.
Going down.
All right. So you you just take the tunnel down? You don't go through the hole again, or
I think we just follow the tunnel.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
The more we switch back and forth, it just takes time.
yeah. So the tunnel curves back around to the next level down. It's not stairs inside, so it's kind of sloped as you go down. But you get down to what feels like it's close to ground level after you kind of come around this curving slope, and you see what looks like it was once kind of just like the main entry and assembly room for this fortress. It's all still very dark in here, so those of you without dark vision are not seeing very much. Are you doing anything about that? I mean, I guess Amethyst is the only one that doesn't have it, and she has the glasses, the goggles.
Goggles.
Okay, so you can have the goggles on. What you see as you make your way to that level is that, first of all, you can see a little bit of light because you're now on the other side of that obstruction that was blocking the main entrance. And you can see that the rest of this room, like whatever was once in here, it's been pretty stripped. Like, it's, anything that could be scavenged from this place has been probably a long time ago. You don't see any other entrances or exits, but in the center of the room, you see a humanoid figure with a hood over, like a cloak and a hood down over their face. And you hear kind of a whispery voice just to say, "Impatient, aren't you?"
Long, hard walk.
Yeah, man. People used to call me Cat of the Impatience.
Just your mom.
I told them to stop it.
If you seek the emerald tree, patience is something you had better develop.
I'd like to know who we're talking to. I'm Malaric. What's your name?
She pulls back her hood, and the hair is a different color. But the woman you see looks just like Amethyst.
Oh,
I knew it was going to be somebody we knew.
Wait a minute.
Her hair is sort of like a dirty. Like the hair looks dirty, but it also looks like it's brown when it's clean.
Wait a minute. Amethyst, you have a sister? Why didn't you mention you had a sister?
Not sure I remember having a sister.
You don't remember a lot, remember?
I do remember that.
I
So-
would wager your memories go back to a certain point and then nothing before that.
True.
You realize now that she's speaking in a more normal tone that even though I am not a perfect imitation of Viv, she is speaking in what would seem to be Amethyst's voice.
Oh my god, man. This is crazy.
So,
I'm going to look through my ring as they're talking.
Mhm.
Let's check this
So,
out.
yeah, there does not seem to be an illusion here.
So I would guess that we're related.
Amethyst, it's you.
You still didn't give your name.
I wanted her to say it, Kat.
Oh.
Well, you're right here. This can't be you.
It could be.
We've seen some strange things, Alaric.
All right, I'll grant that, but so if you're you and she's you, then why this whole dusty hole? Why are you here?
All of you are meddling with things that you don't understand.
It's pretty
And you may
gratuitous,
think you have good reasons, and yet, over and over again, you barge into places without investigating them thoroughly. You think you can just stomp down doors and shout, and the world's problems will simply open themselves up to you? There are problems that cannot be solved that way. I have answers to many of your questions, but at present I am not particularly inclined to give them to you. She looks at you, Amethyst, and just says, and you should know better.
I mean, tell me. Tell me so I'll know, so I'll do better. Know better than what?
I will answer your questions when you leave my home and wait until I come to you.
Amethyst, talk some sense into yourself.
I mean, I don't know that that's an unfair request. We did just blow in.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
Is this some sort of test? Amethyst's?
The other Amethyst looks over at Melicanth and just says, looks at her, meets her eye briefly, and then just to the rest of you says, I know all of you have power that would allow you to leave, but leaving is not what you want to do. You need a way to the tree. If you need that information from me, you will do as I ask. Otherwise, you are free to try whatever you like on your own without my assistance.
Can Miss Amethyst too? Can I ask just one question before we go? And I swear to God, I'll go and I'll wait for you to bring out your food. But if you know the way to the tree, then why are you here?
That is exactly the sort of question that I am not especially inclined to answer for you at this time. I have my reasons. Let's leave it at that for now.
I'm leaving. I'm not going to argue.
I take Cadence by the arm and Dimension Door back out onto the staircase.
All right. Poof. I think you find yourself suddenly right in the face of Igtha, who had been, casually chatting with the dwarf next to her, and they both just kind of jump. Ah!
What's up, guys?
How'd it go?
Well, she's not a witch.
No, man. She's actually really nice. She wants you guys to all be friends. That's why she's so ornery all the time, because nobody's getting along.
Well, not through our fault. I mean, it's them. It's those mercenaries.
Stop. Start taking responsibilities for your own actions. Stop putting the blame on everybody else. You know better.
Says the tabaxi that arrived all of 5 minutes ago and then barged into a witch's home without asking. despite being
Ah.
warned?
Yes, but I got answers from the witch.
Did you? What?
She said she wants you to all start getting along better. This ridiculous feud that you have going on here in this oasis is not doing anybody any good.
She told us to stay on our own side and not talk to the other side.
Yes, and you failed that test miserably.
She
What are
did
the...
that because you're probably getting on her nerves with all your squabbling.
Well, that's probably true. But
Ah,
in our defense, it's a stressful situation.
I'll tell you what, we'll just talk about this later. For now, just try and be more civil to one another.
I am capable of being perfectly civil. You
I
are the
see
ones
that.
that
No, you're right.
barged in and didn't listen and wouldn't.
You're very calm. You have a very nice demeanor. I like you very much. And I look at the tabaxi. You there, man? I know
He
tabaxi.
basically had just like come around the corner because he heard people talking.
Hey, you man. I know
Yeah.
tabaxi.
Yeah?
We're not like easy to get along with, right?
Well, I mean, I'm not
Yeah,
like.
yeah. You know what the witch told me? The witch told me that she wants everybody to start getting along and working together. And to put this stupid feud that you have in the past. She separated you all as a test.
We'd been getting along just fine until you guys showed up, and now that looks like the situation is changing. So, what do you want from us?
You know what? I give up with you people.
Oh, just let it go, Ket.
What are the rest of you doing? Are you, Ket and Cadence have poofed back out?
I'm wind walking back out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure I'm out of this room before I start the wind walking back, though.
Okay.
And I want to face the door, so I'll see her if she comes after me.
Melicanth looks to you, Amethyst, and sort of just makes meaningful eye contact, and then she goes to windwalk away.
So I'm gonna stay back. I'm gonna just
Yeah, Feathercrest went as well, so.
So I'm just gonna tell her, that I think we're alone now.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't understand what's going on, and we'll wait. But if she needs any help with anything she's about to do before she's free to talk, that I'll offer to help without asking any questions.
Okay. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh shit. Oh, that is a 16.
16. Okay. One moment. You guys made all this happen faster than I was expecting because you bypassed all my cleverly designed traps, huh? Well, traps, I mean, encounter design. Anyway, so yeah, you take 30 points of psychic damage. And you find yourself kind of collapsing to one knee, and the other amethyst immediately kind of bends down, like her hand on her shoulder, looking concerned. Are you all right?
No.
You actually don't especially feel all right. You are currently undergoing a condition where you're going to have to roll a d4 and subtract that from any ability check or attack roll you make.
So that's a 2.
And the other amethyst just says, "I'm sorry. I guess you're not ready for more yet."
Not of that.
I would advise you get some rest. You'll feel better. I will attempt to answer all of your questions to the best that I can, but get some rest first.
Fine. Nominally.
Okay. So the rest of you kind of come up to Ket and Caden, Ket kind of squabbling with these others, make their way back up. But then I think as soon as you end up coming up, Amethyst, Melicanth just kind of gives you a look like, well, like did she tell you anything else?
No.
Do you really think it's you? I mean, she's you? I'm going to get confused.
I don't know, man. I don't really understand yet.
Are you okay? I mean, to see yourself like that.
Yeah, just trying to make sense of it all. I just don't understand.
The Tabaxi, incidentally, although one group is all dwarves, the other group is like humans, and there's a fire genasi and then one Tabaxi. They're kind of mixed. So just in case that was not clear. But Cobb, the Tabaxi, has gone up and shouted down into one of those holes in the roof and just say, since we got newcomers, I mean, is it okay if like they just go back and forth between sides? I mean, we don't want to mess up. And he actually, you don't hear anything else, but he comes back down saying, I think it's fine.
So is there like some shade like in the ruins? Like
right now it's getting into afternoon, and so there is definitely there's shade kind of well, you're not looking at the map right now. There's shade, like a little bit of shade under the trees. You have definitely seen that both camps kind of have their own sort of lean-to shelter that they've made. And there's a little bit of a shadow from the butte, but it doesn't, overlap with the oasis right now.
Man, it's a shame that you already cast the mansion today. Oh wait, no, you didn't. You did yesterday.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
yeah. So I mean, you had you cast it and then had the long rest. So
Yeah. Not casting it right now, man.
No, I know. I was just gonna say you could feed all these people, but
They can wait.
You can become their next angry witch.
you could be the next witch.
If it comes to that.
Amethyst is going to walk off to the side a little bit and cast Healing Word on herself.
Okay.
And I just don't want anybody to see that I took any damage in there yet.
okay. So I think Igtha is kind of looking around at all of you and just sort of pressing. It's just like, so what did she say? I mean, you weren't down there very long.
I told you what she said. She wants you to all get along.
What?
Well, I mean, if that's all she said, well, she's.
She said that.
Why
she'll
wouldn't
be
she just say that to us?
She said that she'll come out later.
We have been getting along since she made the line. It's just chaos right now because of your arrival.
It'll be okay. She wasn't angry.
So you said the water was bad, right? One of you did anyway. How bad?
One of the other dwarves just says, I think it's gone through a sulfur deposit underground. I think, it doesn't taste good. I think over time it'd make you sick. You could drink a little bit and probably be fine, but it's not for every day.
You didn't think to try to clear it out?
With what?
You're a dwarf. Surely you know how to dig.
Do you have picks and shovels and other tools which might make such an enterprise possible?
There's a tree over there. I could break off a branch. There's a stone over there. I can make a spade.
Egg kind of just says, yeah, nope, that we are not allowed to cut down the trees.
Why?
Druid reasons.
Yeah, you just at the butte is like, because our only supply of clean food and water said not to.
Was the Oasis here before you were and before her, or what?
Well, no, I mean, it was here when we arrived.
And she was here too?
Yeah.
You want to wander over to Amethyst and kind of tap her on the shoulder.
Okay.
Hey, Amethyst, do you think your friend might want to come out and have a look around? Lenamara. Staff. It's hot. Looking for some shade. It's a nice big tree.
I'm a little. I'll be honest. I was holding back on using it. I don't know what I will think if I use it here. I don't know. If you'll keep a watch and make sure she doesn't come out slinging any spells.
I'm here.
Do you think that she will?
I don't. I just
It's a
trying to be
tree.
cautious.
She said don't cut down the trees. I'm sure she won't have a problem with you putting in another one.
I don't really know what to expect. I'd like to be cautious, but if you guys are ready to defend my staff as well as me, because I don't want any harm to come to Lanamara.
When am I not ready for a fight?
That's a good
We
point.
could just wait.
Yeah. But
In the
It's
shade.
hot.
Would be nice.
Nira is having a hard time with her comfort and
Go sit under
Patience.
one of the lean-tos if you have to.
The one
It's
thing
better
she
there.
said we needed was patience.
Yeah.
It might be a test.
Right. And we're better to wait under the shade of a nice, beautiful tree.
Nira. Stop it. You're making Amethyst obviously uncomfortable.
Guys, you're killing me.
I think it's probably been 45 seconds, Nara. Let's give it at least 5 minutes.
And I think Igtha just says there is shade in the lean-tos. I mean, I guess you have to wait for her, but I mean, not to put too fine a point on it, we've all heard each other's stories. We would be happy to talk with you guys about anything non-Oasis related. Or, I mean, we could, you guys are a new audience. We tell you our stories, whatever. We're just like,
I would like to hear what you know of this tree in the city, the reason you came here.
yes, come on. And she's she's guiding you like back towards her lean-to, and
You sort of look back at the rest, shrug.
and then I
what
think,
the hell?
Cobb kind of just says, whoever's not interested in a boring archaeology lecture, maybe come on over to our lean-to.
Yeah, I'm going with the dwarves. Sounds more like a book.
We'll be here for a year. We'll have flashing neon and everything.
Okay. So who's going with the dwarves? Okay, Nira, Alaric. I think Melicanth and Feathercrest are interested in that story too.
I want to see why this tabaxi's here.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
I'm just going to kind of hang out by myself in the middle area, wherever we are now.
Okay. You're just like hanging out, like by the water, or?
Is there any shade by the thing we just came out of?
Well, so the shadow of the butte is like in the other direction away from the oasis
Gotcha.
right now. You could go sit in the shade on that side, but it's, dry. It's just the sand, and the butte would be between you and everybody else. Or you could like go sit like under one of the palm trees or something.
Definitely under a palm tree.
Okay. So the water looks cool and inviting, but it does still kind of have that smell.
Yeah. I'm going to take Arwen out and just tell her not to drink the water and just play with her and let her
Okay.
romp around a little.
She hops around a little bit, and she takes like a little bit of a nibble at one of those like scrub grasses, and then kind of wrinkles her nose and hops back over to you. So I think Ket and Cadence, let's start with you guys. You're heading over there, and they kind of welcome you over and just say, so, it looks like the nerds went over to the other side, And that makes you guys the fun ones? Am I right?
No,
Okay, no
not
offense. Just
entirely.
saying. I mean, look. You guys don't know what it's like. We've been stuck here for months. Every time we try to leave, make our way right back here. Sure, we got food and water, so we're not starving. But there's nowhere to clean our clothes unless you get everything starts smelling like that water every so often. We're not even supposed to talk to them over there anymore. Not after, the whole thing. They act all, unassuming and like, oh, they're academics. They wouldn't, they wouldn't indulge in violence, not like us mercenaries. But, when they arrived, they had big casks of poison. The witch took them. You won't hear that from them.
Why did you come here?
Well, we're mercs. We were hired by a guy who said he had a lead on some relics that we could loot. We came looking for this place. We got lost. I mean, it was a whole thing where, like when the fighting broke out with those guys over there, because, we, they started claiming they needed more of the food. Emotions were running high. So just so happens that our one Moneybags guy is the one that was the only one actually got killed during that. So he's not around. But
So what, they poisoned him then?
well, no, the poison had already been taken. He got shoved and fell down the stairs.
Huh. So you just came here looking for treasure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not here. We just wanted it to be there, I guess. We told it was an ancient, old, ruined city in the middle of the desert, but
You'd never heard of it before? You'd never heard the stories of this place at all?
well, like legends and stuff. But this guy said he had a map. He knew just where it was.
Hmm.
Do you still have that map?
And he kind of turns to one of the other humans. Where did that map end up? Durbin's map. The guy shrugs. Sorry, I don't know. I mean, we're all pretty sick of that map by the end. By the way, if you don't mind me saying.
And none of you all ever even thought of like the dragon or anything like that?
They don't know about the
I
dragon.
know, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
like, they
yeah. You
never-
said something about a dragon earlier. What was that all about?
There's a dragon
Under the ground, though.
underground.
So it hasn't come
What?
out yet. If they don't know about the dragon, then it hasn't
Yeah.
come out.
We haven't seen any dragon.
You've been here for a couple of months?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So God only knows how long that witch has been in there. She was here when we got here. Those dwarves showed up a few weeks after that. We got, what's the tree at? And one of them actually goes. They have on one of the palm trees. They've carved marks. And it says, yeah, okay, 67 days, we're here. They showed up 32 days ago.
Well, I'll tell you what, friend. We're like working on a solution to all of this. It's going to take a bit of time,
Well,
but you got nothing else to do. So
well, yeah, so, I mean,
we're working on something.
that's great. I hope that works. I'm not going to hold my breath, if that's all right. I mean,
Oh,
no
please
offense, but we've been stuck, so If you got anything, we're interested.
You know what I have?
What's that?
A lot of patience.
Ha! Yeah, great. Well, I mean, look. In all seriousness, that's probably going to help you a lot.
I've been trying to get home for like probably 1,000 or so years. So what's a few
Okay,
more months gonna
okay,
hurt?
wait. Well, 1,000 years. Yeah, I think you got us beat. What are you talking about? 1,000 years?
It's a
Long
long story.
story.
So anyway, here's Wonderwall.
Very nice. So I think, um, one of you. Let's see. Cadence, make a wisdom saving throw.
19.
19. You suddenly feel kind of woozy for a moment. You feel like something just tried to do something to you.
Cadence, are you okay?
I don't. I don't know. I felt weird there for a second.
You kind of stumbled on your feet there for a moment.
The Cobb kind of kneels down to you and just says, I mean, you guys did just come out of the desert. You dehydrated? I mean, I don't think we're out of the water for now, but we're going to get more as soon as the sun goes down. Maybe
No.
just rest. Like, stay out of the sun.
Maybe.
Did that feel magical?
Did I notice that it felt magical?
It felt like, I mean, you don't know. Like, it wasn't anything you're familiar with.
Okay.
But like, something just sort of felt like, what it felt like is when you stand up too fast and you get a little lightheaded for a second. It felt like that, but just in an extreme acute just spike of that all of a sudden out of nowhere.
Okay. I'm like, remember that one time that like we were partying like really hard a long time ago, and we woke up the next day and we were really messed up, and like you stood up really fast and almost fell down.
Oh man, do I remember? Of course I remember.
Magnify that by like 5.
5? Oh my god, that's massive.
Yeah.
Hey, Ket, make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh shit. Let me see. Oh no. 6.
6. Okay. You take 37 points of psychic damage.
Oh my god. He's like, there's a fire in my brain. Help me, Cadence.
And yeah, and you, like Amethyst, is currently you need to subtract a D4 from any of your ability checks or attack rolls.
Okay.
Yeah, so Cobb is just looking at you and it's just saying, "What's going on here?"
I have no idea. Are you okay, kid?
No, man, I just got hit with something that was definitely not natural.
Okay.
One of the mercenaries just says, "Hey, Cobb, that creepy one's staring at us again." And do you look in the direction he's pointing?
Yeah, man.
You both do see, just for a split second, you do see one of the dwarves staring at you guys from across the little pond, and as soon as you make eye contact, he like ducks away.
I'll make note of that. Hey, who was that guy? You call him the creepy one.
Yeah, I don't think he sleeps, like, ever.
Oh.
We see, like, most of the dwarves, they're so pale. They like this is more activity than they usually do in the day. They usually sleep during the day and then come out at night. But like, you guys arrived, obviously. This is, they got up early, right?
A lot of excitement.
Yeah,
But
man.
that one, like, we see him muttering to himself.
Oh, that's crazy, man. Did I get a look at the dude?
You like, so he's one of the dwarves, but yeah, you know which one he was. You
Okay.
could-
I'm going to send a message to Nira, and I'm just going to like say, "Hey, Nira, man, one of those dwarfs," and I describe the dwarf to her,
Mhm.
and I'm just like, I think there's something fishy going on. He kind of hit me with something magical, and I ain't feeling so good. So watch out for that one over there. That's all.
Do you need healing, Kate?
Yeah, man. Do you have some healing?
Yeah. I will cast Cure Wounds at level 3.
Okay.
So.
So, because it is about that time, this is meta level. James, Jenny, if you have to go now, it's perhaps, I'll be cutting back over to the other group anyway. But if you guys need to sign off, certainly we're running later than usual anyway, so understandable completely.
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay. Well, we'll catch up with you guys later. Obviously when we next have the opportunity, but I think we'll probably like follow the other group for a little bit.
Okay.
And we'll check the stream.
Yeah, we'll watch the rest. How much healing did I get?
17.
Okay. Cool.
Actually,
Thank you.
right before. No, yeah, never mind. So yeah, that's where we're leaving it. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Good
Bye,
night,
guys.
Bye.
Don't die.
We'll try.
So I have a question. How did he send me a message? Does he have the sending stuff?
I can double check.
Message cantrip, I think.
Yeah, that might be, but I'll double check what.
Because he just said he sent a message. I would. I don't know how I'm supposed to. Okay.
Yeah, no, I have the so we're going to be retreating in time just a little bit, so you're not responding to that right now anyway. We will when we catch up to that, we'll have you do that. But let's see, he does have the message cantrip, so that's what it was.
Okay.
So that means I don't think you can reply. Yeah. You can reply to this message, so to speak. But we're not there yet because you guys are just following the dwarves over to their kind of lean-to, and unless you guys are there seems to be a group of the dwarves here, but unless you guys are doing a precise count, I don't think you notice if it's all of them or not.
Nah, I wasn't really paying attention to how many there were in the first place.
Okay, so as you you notice that their little lean-to shelter is actually pretty well constructed in terms of the, this palm frond structure, and it's sort of, its condition is the sort that you would expect if they have had a lot of time to work on it, but are also kind of constantly having to upkeep, in terms of, against the conditions, so to speak. But it's pretty big, and it's enough for all of you to kind of go in there and sit in the shade. And they have dug the sand out a little bit, and it's a little bit cooler and a little bit damp there because dug down to the level below the surface a little bit, but it does still kind of smell like the that same water smell. But you figure these guys are probably used to it.
Probably. So she let you build this then?
Well, yeah, I mean, the fronds are, renewable, I guess. I mean, we kind of have we don't want to be in the sun too much. I think you probably get that. I mean,
I
Absolutely.
haven't seen your people before, but I imagine it's tough.
well, we're from the, this is just to the east of here, the mountains west of Rushama. Where do you hail from? They're speaking with you in Dwarfish right now.
Actually, since Melicanth and Feathercrest are here, I'll switch to common
Okay.
in my answers and kind of look at them to indicate that they're meant to be part of the conversation.
Okay, and she kind of just nods and says, "Okay, yeah, I get it. Just, I mean, we speak Dwarvish with each other, but it's like, sorry. Yes, you're right. It's rude. So common it is. So where do you hail from, friend? What's your name?"
My name is Alaric. The Copperbeard clan rules my home mountain.
Out of the Barrier Mountains, aren't they?
Yeah, you've heard of them.
Well, I mean, heard of the clan.
Still, you came here looking for the tree in the city. Why did you start looking for it?
Well, I am a scholar of sorts. I have been researching like the origins of the world as we know it, and especially since those strange tears to other planes started appearing. It piqued my interest. I wanted to know more about like the other planes and like were they created at the same time as ours, and I found some old books that talked about people who used to be able to just travel across all the different planes easily. And supposedly they did that by climbing the tree whose roots make the world. And I was looking for it.
Sounds like a myth to me.
Well, I would have thought so too, but she kind of gestures.
I can see it from here, but there's a lot of desert and a lot of space between here and your mountains.
Well, yeah, I mean, we had a whole expedition, and not all of us even made it this far.
So what do you know about the tree, other than this story of you can go elsewhere?
Well, I know that it's referenced in ancient writings, and then nothing. And
It was
yet,
destroyed?
there it is. Well, something happened to it because it was like I don't want to call it common. I found multiple sources that referred to either the climbers that would go between different planes, or the tree, or just foundation myths that seemed to align. But there's some cataclysmic event must have happened, because all mentions of anything like that just stop after a certain point. And I wanted to know why that was. And so I was looking for it. I mean, a lot of dwarves don't appreciate they think if you don't dig it up in your own cave, then what's the point? It seems like sometimes, but I felt like this is the tree whose roots make the world. Like, the thing is, a lot of these surface dwellers don't understand. Like, when you see a tree on the surface, like, what do they think of? They think of the trunk and the leaves, and sure, yeah, because that's what they can see. But underground, the roots can extend hugely, and like that's just as interesting, I think.
I remember a story. It was an elf, I think, who sang the story at a pub once about a forest. And the story, well, I'm no singer, so I'm not going to try that, but the center of the story was about a tree that lived so long and its roots grew so deep that the whole forest was in fact nothing more than that one tree
Ha!
popped up here and there over and over again.
That's
Every time.
the world is full of such wonders, and some of them you have to be willing to dig them up a little, right? I mean, it's.
Tell me,
But then again, I mean, now that we've been trapped here for a while, I mean, it's hard to argue that my parents were entirely wrong about the foolishness of this expedition. I mean, but it's there. It just looms over us, just like taunting us constantly.
my father told me a story when I was young. I asked him, why do we dig? Why do we strive with this hard stone? And he said, because on the other side of the dark stone are brilliant riches. I kept digging. It's kind of in the blood, I suppose.
Yeah, well.
Tell me, in your stories, do you ever run across a character, especially noted with the tree? I've heard a couple of different names, kind of looking over at Melicanth. The names have different meanings, but one of them, the simplest of them, is the Red One. You ever hear of a character like that? Maybe around the fall.
So on that note, just briefly, like, have you been doing anything to like cover your arm, or is it just kind of out there?
It's just under my cloak. It's not particularly covered.
So you're not making an effort to conceal it, but it's also like not necessarily obvious.
Right. I'm not drawing attention to it at this moment either.
Okay. Yeah. Incidentally, you make eye contact with Melicanth, and she sort of returns it, but also seems like she's listening and paying attention, but not contributing at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So when you mention the Red One, Igtha just goes, "Well, that's a weird translation, but like the renegade? Do you think that's the same?"
I've heard that name too. I figured the broader translation might be one that turned up more often.
Well, the only references I've encountered of the renegade are around the times of the last references to the tree. I mentioned there might have been some sort of a cataclysmic event, but I mean, all the references do that thing that makes archaeologists hate them, which is to say that it's essentially, they talk about it like, well, everybody knows this, so we don't have to go into detail. So they basically are just, they're kind of saying, oh, the thing with the renegade. I've not been able to find any sort of a corroborating detail to describe it, but the time of that is roughly co-equal to when we stop hearing about it. But I mean, in this time frame, I mean, it could be hundreds of years separated. We don't know exactly.
Right. Well, it was just a story. I didn't know if it was connected.
Well, I'm just fascinated that anyone else has even heard of it. Like, these guys, like, are hired hands for the job, and, they're well suited for it, but they're, and she kind of looks, and one of the other dwarves sitting by her is just kind of looking a little bit hurt, and she's like, Malrin, okay. That's going to be a whole thing later. You don't have to worry about it. These guys are great. I'm just saying, I'm fascinated to talk to someone else who's even heard of any of this. So, like, is that why you were looking for the tree, too? More information about the Red One?
There's more than one reason to go looking for things. I think all of us have different reasons, really.
Incidentally, I'll say that about now, Nira, is when you get that message from Ket.
Okay, so I just kind of like sit up and that's weird. It's like, and I guess send back silently. Duly noted. And I'm gonna look around and see if I can spot this particular dwarf that was described.
Okay, make a perception check.
And that is a 27.
Okay. You notice that most of the dwarves are kind of sitting like you're kind of crowded around the rest of you because you guys are absolutely the most interesting thing that has happened to them in a long time. But you do, when you're looking around, see that there is another one of the dwarves kind of skulking around in the brush about 30 feet away. Looks like they're squatting down over something.
I would like to use my ring and do the detect thoughts.
Okay.
Find my ring.
All right. So as you cast that spell, you get surface level thoughts, right?
Yes. Detect thoughts. I'm trying to click on it. It's not giving me anything. There we go. Yeah, surface thoughts. What is most on its mind at that moment?
Yeah,
Then,
so what you get in that sort of surface level thought is kind of a desperate feeling of like, at last, it's been so long, I've been so hungry.
Oh, that's creepy. What was the name of this dwarf that we're talking to?
Igtha
right?
is Igtha Strongarm is the one that has been
Okay.
talking.
So
She seems like she's the leader of this little crew here.
I'm gonna kind of lean in closer and say, that dwarf that's kind of off by themselves.
Oh,
What can you tell me about them?
well, that's Grangrom. He. What you have to understand, we've been here for months. Most of us don't know, we're not experts in the magic stuff, right? We have tried and failed. We keep trying to leave, we keep making our way back here. There's not a lot to do. He's lost it a little. I mean, we try to make sure he eats when we get the food and drinks, but he doesn't like talking to us anymore. I don't think he sleeps much.
I'm gonna slip off my ring and can I take a look at the one that's crouched down?
Okay, yeah.
See if I see anything that doesn't look like it's a dwarf.
No, make an investigation check with advantage.
With advantage?
Yeah.
Ooh, I just got a natural 20 on the second one. The first one I rolled a 10.
Okay.
So 23 total.
Okay. Yeah. The it's a little bit of a weird effect because the dwarf looks normal, but the ground around him looks weirdly blurry.
Something strange there. It's not.
I think Igtha, by the way, did you like sneak away to do that or?
Oh, well, I thought you.
Well, so I just mean Nira just asked Igtha, and then did Nira just immediately turn and start looking through her ring at this dwarf? I'm just saying, like, they're going to notice if you're doing that.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to necessarily try to hide it. Like.
Okay. Igtha just kind of says, magic, I guess? What are you doing?
Something is off.
Well, he's...
It's not.
Well, what do you mean?
I don't think it's something like heat-addled or physical starvation. I don't think it's a physical condition necessarily. It's something else. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but something is very, very wrong.
Well, that actually just reminds me. Like, obviously, you know some magic. You said something about that same spell about the food and water.
It's a thing that I would have to do a little bit of preparation, but yes.
Okay, well, I mean, that's great news. I'm, we've been entirely dependent on the witch for food and water, but I mean, it would be nice to have a second source. But let's try to make sure we're not too disruptive right away. I don't want you guys to get competitive or something. But so you can you you think it's something like you could can you magic him better? I don't know how this works.
I'm not entirely sure what's wrong.
Maybe we could ask him.
Well, I mean, obviously you have my permission, but like I said, he hasn't really been very communicative recently. Doesn't like talking.
And he was just one of the people that signed on with you back with the original party, the original.
Yeah, I mean,
group.
there was more of us, but we got in a big sandstorm, and some of us made it out and ended up here. We don't know what happened to the rest. Most of our supplies lost.
He was off when he came, or just.
Well, no, I mean, he was always fine, but it's just this has not been a calming situation for us here. We're magically stuck here for who knows how long. We don't know if we can trust those mercenaries. I mean, they betrayed their own leader. They showed up with this rich guy that was leading their expedition, and then I guess he told them to do something, and they were tired of following his orders if he couldn't get him out, and they killed him.
How long ago was that?
Well, they've only been here a couple of weeks, and it was 3 days in. They had tried going out and coming back a couple of times, but I think once they started realizing they were really stuck here, that's when they didn't want to follow his orders anymore.
When did that one start acting off?
Well,
how long?
I think he just when we realized we were stuck here, he just took it harder, and he's kind of been getting worse and worse. We don't know what to do for him.
Well, I'll stand up and I'll see if I can talk to him.
Okay.
Maybe I've been in a place where I couldn't get out either.
I'm gonna boop Alaric with guidance real fast. Just
Okay.
kind of. Good luck.
Remind me what guidance can.
You added
Is it just ability checks?
4.
It's for. I think it only
Ability
lasts a
check,
minute, right?
Yeah.
And it's for ability checks. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I can do. So.
No, sure. I just
Better than nothing.
Yeah, I want to make sure. Okay, so are you going by yourself to talk to this guy?
He's just off within here with eyesight, right? So
Yeah. He's 30 feet away.
sure.
Okay.
I doubtless can feel the eyes on my back anyway. So
All right. Yeah. So you make your way over to him. He. Well, are you being stealthy, or are you just?
no,
Okay. Yeah, I think he hears you coming and starts to move he starts moving out of the way, but your impression from his body language is not that he's running away from you, but more he feels like he's obviously in your way, so he's getting out of your way, but he's he's moving further away.
relax, friend. I'm just here to talk. You mind if I sit with you?
I can't stop you, I guess.
I don't want to intrude, and I'll plunk myself down beside him.
All right. So you're a little ways away from where he had been sitting, but you definitely notice that he was he's tracing weird squiggles in the sand over where he was before. And he's watching you kind of warily, but
Do you draw? Is that your art?
I
I can't draw anything. I can carve stone into the most beautiful statues, but give me a bit of ink and paper, and it turns out a big blotch every single time.
He looks over at you, and for just a moment, he makes eye contact with you, and like he like none of them look good. They look like they have been stranded for months at a desert oasis with nothing but what they had on them when they arrived. Well, with the exception that they do look like they've been getting enough to eat. But yeah, he looks bad. There's huge circles under his eyes, kind of sunken. He just his hair's kind of stringy, and his beard is matted. And but he makes eye contact with you, and just for a moment, just says, "You have to help me."
What can I do, friend?
And he moves over, and he goes to like grab you.
I put my arm on his shoulder. It's clearly a friendly embrace.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
That's not friendly. Wait, it could be. That's a 5.
Okay. Remember, your arm can give you advantage
On wisdom
spend
saves.
your reaction.
Oh, well, then I'll do that.
Yeah.
Don't think it's going to get much better. That time I rolled a total of 1, so I'll take the 5.
Okay. Yeah, so... you take 39 points of psychic damage. And I basically how this works for you is like what you perceive here is that he goes to grab you, and then you're on the ground with a splitting headache, and he's like standing over you looking horrified.
That's one hell of a hug.
No, and he scoots away into the brush.
Hey, wait. I'm going to get up and go after him.
Okay.
So I have been watching this. How much of that do I see? Do I see Alaric go down?
Yeah, well, if you were watching, I would imagine you do. Yeah, so like it was not like an instantaneous thing. That was only just like his subjective experience of it. So like what you see is that the dwarf suddenly kind of lurches at him, and Alaric suddenly just collapses, and then the other dwarf kind of like scuttles away.
Okay, I'm going over there.
Okay.
Hold on, I need to check.
Now he's a dwarf, so he can't run faster than me, at least.
Well, no, but I mean, you were prone, we'll say.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, there's also not that far to go.
Mm-hmm.
He basically goes about 30 feet away and hides behind a tree.
Can't hide from me.
I would like to cast Dispel Good and Evil on myself.
Okay.
Because, it protects me from fey, undead, creatures originating from beyond the material plane. For the duration, celestials, elementals, fey, fiends, and undead have disadvantage. This is just in case. Because I don't know what's going on right now.
Protection from evil and good is the spell, right?
Yeah.
Dispel evil and good is what you said.
Yep.
There is a spell called Dispel Evil and Good. Is that the one you're casting?
Yeah, it's the shimmering energy surrounds and protects you from the stuff, and then on dismissal, it can cause a melee spell attack to drive that creature back.
Right.
Whatever it is. So.
Okay.
But I don't know if this is going to do any good. But I'm doing it.
So you are. Yeah. Okay. I see. So right now you have this sort of shimmering protection, and you have that for a minute, and you can also do a dismissal or break enchantment feature. If you do either one of those, it happens, but then the spell is over.
Right.
Okay. So you've cast the spell. feel sort of a divine protection hovering around you.
All right, and I'm going to go in that direction.
All right, I guess Alaric is pursuing also, like both
Yeah,
of you
yeah.
going.
And
Okay.
I'm not making an attempt to hide either. I want him to see me.
Yeah, Alaric looks kind of woozy, Nira, but he's following also. I mean, it's not hard for either of you to catch up. Like, there's this place is not big. There's not very far to go.
But I got my hands out in caution, just like,
Okay. Yeah.
hold
so
on there.
he like hid on the other side of a tree, and he's like crouched down, got his hands over his head, and he's kind of muttering to himself.
Grindgrom, is that your name?
Grangrum. And then I think Igtha is kind of she's keeping her distance, but she's kind of watching both of you like you're trying to help him, but I'm watching what's happening because she's concerned. That's your impression.
Well, that makes three of us.
Yeah. Okay, so you're approaching him. He's not doing anything, but he's kind of just rocking back and forth, muttering to himself.
Okay, what was that? What happened? You didn't want to do that, did you?
He kind of shakes his head, but otherwise doesn't reply. He's just still crouched down.
Does that happen when anybody touches you? Or when you touch somebody? Is that what happened?
He doesn't reply.
Near Akina, something happened. It like a rock to the head. But he didn't mean it. I don't think he means to do it. Just can't help it.
Cat sent me a heads up. I'm going to reach out and try to put a hand on this dwarf's shoulder.
Okay. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Just had to go drink the milk yourself to see if it was rotten, didn't you?
Well, I gotta touch him for this to work. So that is a... Let's see, that's a +9. So, okay, that is a 27.
Okay. Yeah, you feel a little woozy, like some sort of a magical effect has just washed over you, but you were able to resist it.
You all right?
I'm fine. So, hand on the shoulder, I got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm going to try and I'm going to do break enchantment and
Okay.
see what happens.
All right. He goes completely rigid, like he just like suddenly straightens out, like you've just given, like he's just been struck by lightning, like he's having a seizure.
You hit him with lightning. You may have actually hit him with lightning. This is what I'm
Yeah, so he sort of just like flops over on the ground, but then after that, you have felt the spell discharge, but I'm just trying to think like what your perception of this spell is, right? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it doesn't. Yeah, so I don't think you know anything about what has happened. You just know that your spell has discharged. He is having this reaction.
Yeah, I know there are potential effects that could have happened upon this thing, so step back.
What did you do? Did it work? Grindgrom, whatever your name is. It's late. Are you all right? It is a weird name.
I think he looks up at you, and he looks like at the two of you, and he looks extremely weak, but his eyes are a little clearer, and he just kind of says, "Thank you."
Did it work? Do you feel different?
He
Help him
kind
up.
of closes his eyes, and he looks like he's maybe fainting or something.
I'm gonna try to pick him up.
Okay. He is like, he's kind of like dead weight, like he's not helping you at all.
He's still alive, right?
His eyes are kind of rolling back in his head, but his breathing is easier, and he's not like seizing anymore.
Can you heal him?
Igtha like runs up at this point and says, "Is he okay? What happened?"
My best guess is some sort of entity had taken control of him. That's about as much as I can say.
Entity? Like what? What kind of entity?
Some I don't know. There was some Alaric were you hurt? I saw you go down.
Yeah, like a kick from a mule, but is he going to be all right?
But not a physical attack, right?
I mean, I didn't actually get kicked, but
Right, right.
the thing, you said there was a thing.
There was definitely a thing. The
Is it still around?
well, that's the question. I'm gonna look through my ring again.
Igtha at this point is just going like, this is all we need. Now there's entities? Like what?
There's always entities. It's
Always another thing.
One of the other dwarves goes like, seems like none of this happened until they showed up. Igtha just says, look, hey, come on.
Hey, Grind
let's not
Grum here
point
is
fingers.
this guy's been ill for a while. Unless you want to dispute that.
He says, no, but that also never happened either.
Right, because none of you tried to help him. You should be thanking Nirakina here that she could do something. Although, what she did, I'm not really sure yet.
They're looking at him kind of like limp hanging over your shoulder here.
he'll
What
be
do
fine.
you-
He's just weakened. So looking through the ring, I'm looking all around because there was that strange effect on the ground.
Yeah.
So looking for anything that might look like that.
Make another investigation check.
It was not so good. That is a 12.
You do see you do see that weird sort of blurry effect, but it's all over.
All over, like everywhere?
Just on the ground.
Hmm.
I'm going to carry this guy back underneath the lean-to.
Okay.
Down.
Yeah, Igtha kind of kneels next to him and is just kind of, looking over him with concern and just says, "Boy, he looks weak, but I don't know. Is maybe his breathing is easier? I don't."
His eyes
Is
were a
he
little
okay?
clearer. For the second or two I saw them, his eyes were clearer. I think whatever was in him is somewhere else now. Watch him. I'm going to
Okay.
walk back over to Nirakina.
So since we have time and aren't really doing anything else right now, I'm going to cast Prayer of Healing, and that should get that I can see. But I don't know that Amethyst was hurt, so I can't do anything. And I don't know that I can see Cat either. But
So, Amethyst, have you been just sort of observing all of this, or?
Well, that's what I was going to ask is what I can see from where I'm at under the palm tree.
Yeah, well, I think you probably heard activity for sure. Like you probably could have heard all of that, but depends on exactly how much attention you're paying.
I'm listening, and it sounds like they've got it under control. I'm just keeping an eye on where I think the druid's going to come out.
Okay.
Christiana, is that one that I can do as a ritual? Because I thought that was a thing before. Like it took 10 minutes. Yeah, it does. Okay.
Yeah.
So
It means it'll take 11 minutes to cast as a ritual.
Okay, but does that take a spell slot or no?
Well, no, actually, I guess it would be 20, because ritual makes it take 10 minutes longer than it would normally take, and I think it normally takes 10 minutes.
Although I'm not sure it's a ritual.
Is it not?
Yeah, I thought it was. Like, we talked about that, and I didn't use it before for that.
Well, I don't remember.
Reason,
so
but...
I think the reason, when you originally wanted to cast it the first time,
we
forgot that it is not a ritual.
It is not a ritual. Okay.
Not a ritual.
Well, then I'm just going to go ahead and do it then.
Yeah, so it does still take 10 minutes.
Okay.
But it will use a spell slot, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're working on that. What are you doing, Alaric?
Keeping an eye out, really.
Okay.
Nirkina said she saw something. I haven't seen it yet.
It's
All right.
everywhere.
Well,
Are
I'm
you-
looking everywhere then.
Okay. Make an investigation check.
Yeah, that's okay. Oh, that would have been nice as a natural 20, but it's a total of 17.
Okay. You definitely see that this purple scrub grass seems to have it might be a separate plant that grows up in the clusters of the grass, but it has little purple berries on it. You do recall you were told that the berries are not safe to eat. The the sand around the oasis, you basically find more of what you have found already. You're not seeing anything that looks strange. Are you looking over like at the other side, or where Ket and Cadence seem to be talking with the other mercenary group over there?
Unless they're disturbed, no, I won't. They don't seem to see anything bad. So, and I'm thinking it's probably still here if it's a thing.
So, I rolled really well on that. So in 10 minutes or whatever, Alar can take 20. Dude that went down, I'm assuming he was damaged, so I guess he can take 20.
Okay.
And Ket mentioned, I'm assuming I gathered from his message that he had gotten attacked or something, so...
Well, all he said was keep an eye on the dwarf that's acting weird, so...
Okay. Well, yeah, I can do it on up to, I think it's like 6. So I will... It clicked off of it. Of course it did.
Okay.
Yeah, 6.
Okay.
6 creatures. So I'm just going to, because I don't know what anybody's status is right now.
Okay.
So I'm going to just let's see, it would be Amethyst, Ket, Cadence, Alaric, and Dude that was possessed.
Right.
So that's 5. So just
So Amethyst was a little away from the camp. I don't know that she would have been obvious to be there.
well, I mean,
Tell
it's
me,
just-
Amethyst, if-
I have to be able to see them. So if I can see her, otherwise she didn't get it. Sorry.
No, I'm good. I secretly I healed myself, so
Secret healing
shameful healing after self-harming by my other self.
between you and Kat bearing your shame.
So when you heal everyone feels better, but then this dwarf sits bolt upright and screams, and then goes to grab one of the other dwarfs, who just goes out like a light.
What the heck?
Does he? What's his eyes look like? You said they had cleared over a bit. Are they back to not so
They're back
clear?
to that sort of like kind of glassy, like crazy.
Great.
And the other dwarf goes out like a light.
Yeah, so like grabbed him very much like he did with Alaric, and the other dwarf, just his eyes like roll back into his head.
What the heck?
Grind.
Anything stayed fixed.
Why did you do that? What's wrong? Did something grab you before? Did you eat something?
So like I think the other dwarves are like screaming and like clearing out of this camp, or like out of this little lean-to here, and Grangrom is still like he's like straddling the top of this other one that's unconscious, and
I'll pull him off
okay.
of that. Try anyway. See how this is going to go.
Yeah. Incidentally, Melicanth and Feathercrest, who had been kind of just observing this, have also kind of like backed away from all of that. So you pull Grangrom off the other dwarf.
Yep.
He make a strength check
Strength check.
with a minus D4.
All right. Do. Okay, just a strength check. Wow, that's about as bad as it possibly can be. That is the well, actually, it's kind of weird. The minus D4 only reduced me by 1, but I rolled a 2, so 4.
Okay. All right. He has got his hands latched in, like he's grabbing this other dwarf, like he's got like the beard like clenched in his hands, and he's not letting go. You're not pulling him off. And the
Mirakina,
other
give
dwarf
me a
seems to be
hand.
unconscious.
All right, and I'm going to give him a hand by slapping this dude on the shoulder and using shocking grasp.
Okay. Does he make a saving throw?
It is touch instantaneous melee spell attack against the target. Hold on.
Okay.
My mouse disconnected. What the heck? Can't
Why
click
can't
things.
stay working?
There we go. The little thingy just came out again. God dang it. Stay fixed! Killing me here. I can't click on my sheet. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. I get a plus 11. That's awesome. That is a 22.
Nice. Worth the wait.
Yeah.
So, you reach out and touch the, this dwarf. I need another wisdom saving throw from you.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't get whammied again. That's good.
No.
That is a 24.
Okay. You feel again this little wave wash over you, but you are able to shrug it off. But so you hit with the shocking grasp. Does damage?
Yeah, it does 3d8 damage.
Okay.
So that is 18.
All right.
There goes most of the points you just gave him.
Well,
So
if he's going to be crazy and attack people, then he's
Yeah.
going down.
he splatters
Oh crap!
like he was a water balloon.
What?
And then the slime drips down where it landed on the ground and then just soaks into the sand.
Oh my,
And all the dwarves are screaming.
oh my god.
Oh,
What the hell did you do to him?
I can't even take a shower.
And I think that's where we'll call it for tonight.
Wow. Mira popped a dwarf. Wow.
I don't even know what to do with that. That's the first.
Yeah, I hope so. Hopefully not. Hopefully it'll last. Oh boy.
So this is going well. All right, so we're going to leave it there for tonight, and we're going to have to figure out when our next regular session is, because I'm out of town next week. And then I think, Nira, you said, or Starla,
Yeah.
you're missing the following Wednesday. So we'll probably have a session of some kind, but maybe not continue this one until we have everybody again. But we'll probably do something on March 6th, but no session next week. But in the meantime, thank you everybody for watching and or listening if you listen to the audio version, and we'll be back for more adventure on so many
So many levels.
Devils.